Hello, my peeps. Who remembers the continual survival games of gather some basic supplies and build, and only took it that far? Who can name the successful ones? I can, and it innovated the game by adding zombies and survival, and just kept the game interesting by encouraging people to act horribly to other people. Well, we have another contender for a Minecraft wannabe. Here it is, but this game has stripped the 3D element of the game. Not really going to bother talking about this game. Collect wood, rock, metal, and food, and then craft with it. You do not need to have this gameplay explained to you again. Regular viewers may be wondering why I'm not getting that angry, and that's because I found this game actually quite depressing. A survival game from an indie developer who strips away complex graphics could compete. If they took the basics of a survival game and added to it rather than just harvest and craft, it's just so fucking boring now. There is no risk in the game. I survived without even crafting a raft to see other islands because there is only basic ingredients which all appear on the same islands in the same way. So it's a survival game that doesn't encourage exploring in any way, shape or form. I mean, why the game made me depressed because it's something that could be so well done, a 2D survival game. The added levels of complexity that you could put in because you're not having to do 3D graphics. Granted, you can't do mining like Minecraft does, but you could add other elements because you're not worrying about those graphics. There's added complexities that could be great decisions. You could even do a bit of storytelling in a game like that. But no. And while the game does not make me angry, the attitude of this developer does, and it's not a project on Indiegogo. This is a product you have placed in the store, and don't hide behind this being fucking early access. When your attitude is that you don't give a shit about your game because you know if you don't give a shit, you end up only with shit. Also, do not take this fucking attitude with people over early access. Look at my channel and see the differences in traffic I get from early access compared to non-early access games. All the goodwill of, oh, you get to try the game early, has been overtaken in the market by sheer contempt at the fucking excuse of a game being in early access. It's not in early access to get community support. There needs to be something for the user to take away as well from your game. That's a give and a take relationship, early access. If you're putting it up there because you want community input, you must be sure that first of all there's something that the community is going to be interested in, and if you're not innovated your gameplay in any way like this game has, then don't have the fucking cheek to put a disclaimer like this about your early access. Which brings me to the point I really would like to talk about, and that's the end of Greenlight. As games like this get voted through, and even worse, there's whole communities who will vote through a game for small handouts, essentially. And all I've got to say is rest in peace, Greenlight. And hopefully Steam can move away from the same pitfalls that the Android marketplace has encountered, and games that come onto the store can be taken seriously, because this developer isn't taking his game seriously. But here it is, clogging up the store, making less people willing to cycle through game lists. Hopefully small development games from developers who care can shine. Because if you're a small developer, you do not have the marketing budget. And if you look at things like the Android store, if we compare it to that, King have become a real big pusher in that. But if you see the amount of adverts based around King games, if you're wondering why their games became better when they were really just clones of every other game, it's because there was marketing all over the place. And small indie developers who don't have a marketing budget have the Steam storefront. It's a shop. And the idea of a shop is that if you can get on there and you can get on the shelves and people can see you, then you should be taken seriously. But the problem with things like Greenlight here, that developers don't have to have a previous record, just means that the store is getting clogged up. People aren't going to cycle through lists and lists of craps to try and find the best ones. And Steam sort of did answer this, because you can list all new releases or you can list popular new releases. And I would wager that a majority of people now do not bother going to all new releases, which means there's small games out there that have some great potential but are never going to get the chance to shine. And it's because of uninnovative stuff like this. And I hate this, because this isn't just a game where someone slightly missed a point, they've not really had the skills to take it through. By his own admissions, he doesn't give a shit about this game. It's a side project for him. I mean, I hold a full-time job when doing this, but I spend a lot of my other time doing this. I wouldn't class it as a side project. Things I do in RPG Maker at night are side projects for me. I don't really sell them. If I have a nice little idea, I do release them for free for people to try. But I think the attitude of this developer, I mean, we can say at least he's honest, but at least we can say goodbye to Greenlight, and God rest. And my green light dies. Hopefully no one out there dies, even though that might be a bit impossible. But anyway, enjoy the world. Thanks, peeps, for being as wonderful as ever. And if you enjoyed the video, that's what the subscribe button's for. And our target of 100 subscribers by Tuesday, it's 1 out of 23 we've got so far, so we're on the way.